Okay. So in today's session, we are going to talk about one more integration, like the procurement to the PPM integration. So in the previous sessions, somehow we have discussed about the expense management to the PPM integration, OTL to the PPM integration, and account payables into the PPM integration, and also how we enter the transactions directly in the PPM. Okay, these are the integrations we have focused in the previous sessions. In the current session, we are focusing on the another integration, which is like the procurement into the PPM integration. Okay. So before I wanted to discuss about this integration, just let me give you some the brief, the introduction part of this integration. So in the finance side, there is a process. In the finance side, there is a process which is called the P2P cycle. Even if you go to the YouTube and if you search with P2P cycle in Oracle applications, then you will get many videos, just 5 to 10 minutes videos. There are many videos are available on this the P2P cycle. Okay, P2P, which stands for procure to pay. Procure to pay. Okay, so what is the meaning of this procure to pay? The moment when you decided to purchase something, like you wanted to buy a laptop, or you wanted to buy 100 tons of cement for your construction, or you wanted to buy 100 desktops, 100 mouses, or 100 cables, or 100 CPUs in order to make the lab construction, etc., etc. Okay, the moment you decided to buy some items with a supplier, till you make the payment with a supplier, whatever the process we are following in the Oracle applications, that is nothing but a procure to pay. Procure to pay. Okay. So generally, there are a different steps are available in the procure to pay. There are a different phases, not phases. There are a different steps usually what we have to follow for the procure to pay. Okay, so the PPM, the first step in the procure to pay is the purchase requisition. Purchase requisition. Generally, we'll give one example here. So, being a kid, being a graduate engineer or something, so you need a laptop and you decided to buy a laptop. So, if you decided to buy a laptop and you don't have money, so that you can directly go to your parents and you can check with your parents, I decided to buy a laptop and so I need the laptop for the purpose of learning so and so course or doing something in the laptop. Okay, so that is the reason. So from your side, you already decided to purchase a laptop. That is the reason you are keeping your request in front of your parents, and based on the need basis, the parent may approve your request or parent may reject your request. Okay. So once the parents approved your request, what happens? You go to the 4 to 5 different vendors, suppliers. Okay, nothing but shops, 4 to different the computer shops. So once you go there and in each and from each and every shop, you collect the quotations. Okay, this is what the configuration, and I need one laptop with this configuration. So I need a laptop and just give me the quotation. Okay, so that is how you can get the quotations from the 4 to 5 different shops. And finally, you can decide when you go to your home after receiving the quotations and all, you have to do your own analysis on the quotations. So, which vendor has given the best price on this laptop? Okay, so that way you have to do the analysis of the quotations, and once it is done, and simply what happens, and you can decide, and you can fix with the one vendor. You can fix with one vendor, and maybe tomorrow you can directly go to that particular vendor, and you can buy a laptop. Okay. So before you go to the vendor, after you do the analysis, okay, whatever the item you wanted to buy, so for that you need to prepare one purchase order. For that you need to prepare one purchase order. So what is meant by the purchase order? What is meant by the purchase order? Okay, nothing but whatever the items you are going to buy, those items you wanted to keep it on the one A4 sheet or one anything. So like the serial number one, I need the desktop. How much quantity of the desktop you need? 500. I need the mouses. 500 mouses is required. Keyboards 500. Mouse pads 500. Cables 500. Okay, so later the shop owner can fill the price. Each desktop is how much that is that is on they'll decide. Okay, so this type of a purchase order you can prepare, and with this you can go to the shop and you can hand over this purchase order with the shop owner. Based on the items mentioned in this purchase order, the shop owner will give all the items. Otherwise, the shop owner will deliver all these items with your location. Along with the delivery, the shop owner will provide the invoice copy. Invoice copy, that means a bill. Okay. So the shop owner will give this type of a invoice. Okay, I just wanted to compare this invoice with a purchase order. In the purchase order, how many desktops you have requested? 500 desktops. Whether really I have received 500 desktops or not, 500 desktops or not, whether really received 500 mouses or not, whether really I have received 500 keyboards or not. That way, after receiving the invoice, you can check your invoice with a purchase order. Nothing but so invoice creation is by matching with a purchase order. Purchase order. Okay. Simply once you receive the invoice and directly you can make the payment. Directly you can make the payment. Okay. So this a P2P cycle process at very high level I have mentioned here. Okay, the moment you decided to purchase something to till you make the payment. So whatever the process we are covering, so all the steps are comes under the P2P cycle, which is nothing but a procure to pay. So in procure to pay, initially, you have decided to buy a laptop, and that you are keeping your request with your parents, right? Keeping your request with your parents. A request is nothing but in official terminology, in ARC Labs terminology, which is called as a requisition. Requisition is nothing but it's a formal request. You are working for one engineering college, and maybe for you, for your college, this year there are two more branches are coming. So you wanted to establish two computer labs. Each lab capacity is 40 desktops. Okay. So what happens? So before you make the lab arrangement, initially you need to put a request with a college management. Once the college management approves the request, then only, so from company side, there is a person who will go to the different shops to take the quotations, etc., etc. Okay, so nothing but it's a very simple example. If you wanted to buy a laptop and you need to put your request with your parents, that request I'm going to call as a the requisition. Simply, you are working for a company and there is a huge project that came into the company and around 500 employees required, and each employee required a laptop that you wanted to purchase. There is a logistic team in every company, so they put a request with a company management to buy a 500 laptops. Got it. So that way you are making the requisition with your top management. Okay. Requisition is nothing but it's a formal request. It's a formal request. As soon as your request is approved by the parents or company management or college management, okay, what happens from the company side? There is a team is available. They'll go to the different shops to get the quotations from the different vendor. Vendor is nothing but a supplier who is providing the laptops. okay, or who is providing the items with us based on our purchase order. Okay, so requisition, which means a formal request, and as soon as the top management or parents has given the approval for your requisition, and you go to the different shops or vendors to get the quotations. After getting the quotations, you have to do the analysis of the quotations, which vendor has given the best price for purchasing the 100 laptops or 500 laptops, etc., etc. After doing these analysis, quotation analysis and all, you have to finalize one quotation. Now, with this quotation, what you can do is you can prepare this type of a purchase order. You can prepare this type of a purchase order. After you prepare the purchase order is nothing but whatever the items you are going to buy, those items you wanted to keep it in the one. What do you call that? So in a company there is a brochure. For a college also there is a one letterhead is available. Okay, so you can take the printer, you can prepare it in the system, and you can take a printout in the college brochure or a college letter pad. Okay, now you take that purchase order by keeping all the purchasable items, and you can go to the shop, and you can hand over this purchase order with a vendor, the shop owner. Okay, so based on the items you mentioned in the purchase order, the shop owner has given the items to you. That way you can receive the items along with the shop owner will deliver the invoice copy with you, and you can check the invoice copy with your purchase order. Later you can make the payment. Later you can make the payment. Okay, whatever I have explained here, the same thing is available in this diagram. Okay, so purchase requisition, it's like a formal request. Okay, then you go to the shop and request for the quotations, and you receive the quotations, and you do the analysis of the quotations. Based on this quotation, and you can prepare a purchase order by keeping all purchasable items. And you hand over this purchase order with the shop owner, and the shop owner will deliver the items. That way you can receive the items. Then you can receive the invoice copy. That way you can make the payment. That way you can make the payment. Okay, so this is what the general procedure. And here the requisition, the PPM will come into a picture in creating a purchase requisition, and in creation of a purchase order. Remaining things you forget about just for a knowledge purpose, I told you. But if you are a finance guy, and it's very, very important to know each and every phase. Okay. But the project, for which project you are creating the requisition, for which project you are creating a purchase order. The requisitions and purchase orders, both we can create in a module which is called as a procurement module. Procurement is the one of the module which is comes under the supply chain management, and supply chain management, where I can go and create the purchase requisition specific to a project and purchase order specific to a project. Okay. Now, if you look at this diagram, okay, so this whole this portion is talking about the procurement, where I can create a requisition and purchase order. And this portion is talking about the account payables, where I can create a supplier invoices. Okay. And this portion is talking about the PPM. Wherever you go and create transactions, finally those transactions will get imported into the PPM module, where you can see those imported transactions. Okay, that is what it is talking about. Okay, so now I just wanted to go and focus on the procurement module here. Okay, I wanted to create a requisition, nothing but a formal request for your business, or later I wanted to create a purchase order. Purchase order. So, what are the prerequisites required to create a requisition, and what are the prerequisites required to create a purchase order? Irrespective of the module, okay, we do the configuration and then we do the process. Process is always depending on the configuration. We are the PPM functional consultant. So that is the reason starting from the day one, we have discussed the configuration. Later, we have jumped into the process. Currently, we are in the process. Okay. Now, this is a procurement module which is comes under the supply chain management. Okay. Internally, so offline, I have done the configuration in the system. So that is the reason I can go and I can create a requisition and I can go and I can create a purchase orders. Purchase orders. Okay. How these requisitions and purchase orders are related to the PPM? When I create a requisition, I can provide the project information for which project and task you are creating this formal request, nothing but a requisition. For which project and for which project and task you are creating this purchase order. Either once you create a requisition based on this, also I can create a purchase order. Whatever the information you have provided in the requisition side, the same thing will be defaulted into the purchase order whenever you create this purchase order based on this requisition. Otherwise, if you wanted to create a standalone purchase order, yes, there is a feasibility. There is a feasibility to create a standalone purchase order as well. Okay. Now, when you create a requisition or purchase order, what happens? Okay. These two are showing as a commitment for your project in the PPM. These two are showing as a commitment for your project in the PPM. What is mean by the commitment? Commitment is nothing but what? You are committed to buy some items, but you did not buy so far. You are committed to buy something, but you did not buy anything so far. Okay, you just committed today to buy a laptop. Maybe it will take 1 week or 2 weeks or 1 month uh, to buy a laptop. Okay, but today all of a sudden you have taken a decision to you have taken a decision to buy a laptop. That means you have committed to buy a laptop today. So today you can raise a requisition with your project details. Okay, so which will show as a commitment in your PPM side. Even in the purchase order also, even after you created a purchase order before you go to the shop, so that is also comes under the commitment. Okay, that is the reason the arrows are pointing to the PPM box. In the PPM box, there is a area which is called as a committed cost. Committed cost. Okay, you go to the procurement and you create a requisition or purchase order and you run this process, update project performance data, and you come to the PPM portion and you go to the manage committed cost and you check with your project so that the system will show us the requisition amount and the PO amount as a commitment. Okay, I'll show you practically. Okay, now let me focus on this procurement section thoroughly. Okay, what prerequisites are required in order to raise this portion like requisition and purchase order? Okay, so let me go here. I mentioned the prerequisitions, the prerequisites to create a requisition and purchase orders. Okay, the first one is you take any one of the existing user like Amy Malin or Emily Heather or any other user. Why? Because so with our users, with our name, so we don't have any employee records in the system. Okay. So the one who wants to create a requisition or purchase order, so so that might be a employee in the system. There is an employee record in the system or contractor record in the system. Okay. We don't have any these type of records with our names. That is the reason we consider one record. We consider one employee. Let me take Emily Heather only. Okay. Let me take Emily Heather. The first one is, so the user is a Emily Heather. Okay. The user should have assigned with a procurement roles. So we are working with a PPM. So if I wanted to create a project from my login, so the project administrator role, it should be assigned. If you wanted to enter the transactions for your project, project accountant is required. Similarly, If we wanted to create a requisition in the procurement module, who wants to create a requisition and a purchase order in the procurement module? That person should be assigned with a procurement preparer, procurement requester, and the procurement manager. Okay, so I'll go to the system. I'll go to the system and I'll open the instance. Let me go with my login PPM01 student. I'll go to the navigator and come down. I'll go to the tools and I'll go to the security console. So the security console, which will help us to reset the password for the users and also to assign the roles with your users. Let just go to the users. And who is the user we'll consider? Immediately. Okay, let me open this. I'm checking whether this user is having the procurement related roles or not. Okay, just check here. Anything is starting with a procurement or something? Nothing is there, right? Okay, let me go to edit and you take this add role. You type of procurement requester. This is the one thing I wanted to add. And also one more thing, procurement preparer is one more role which is required, and procurement manager. Okay. So all these are three roles we have assigned. All these are three roles we have assigned. Okay. So now the second step is, so now the Emily Heather is having an access to raise a requisition, but I have a business in the multiple countries. For which country the Emily Heather is responsible to create a requisitions and the POs for our US business unit, Reliance US business unit. That's where I wanted to provide a data access for procurement related roles. Okay. How to provide the data access? Can anyone say? I'll go to the setup and maintenance.
Manage data access.
Yeah, manage data access for users. If you don't provide the data access, if you don't provide the data access here, what happens, when you now the system will allow you to go to the requisition page. But at the time of creating a requisition, somehow you wanted to provide the business unit, right? The business unit won't appear in the list of values until unless you provide this. Okay. Manage data access for users. Now I'll go to the plus and Emily.heater and procurement manager business unit Reliance business unit. Okay. Let me go with the plus. Emily Heater. And this time I'll go with procurement preparer and business unit, Reliance US business unit, and third one also I can provide. Emily Heater, procurement manager preparer is fine. Here, what is that? Preparer we have given. Okay. Procurement requester also we have given. Okay. Let me go to save and close. The second prerequisite is also completed. Okay. The user is assigned with the procurement related roles and the data access also we have provided. Okay. The third one is user must be a procurement agent. User must be a procurement agent. For this, we can go to manage procurement agents. Manage procurement agents. This is a one rule applicable for the procurement. Okay. Now I'll go to the procurement setup and manage procurement agent. So whenever you wanted to create a requisition or a PO in the procurement module, you must be a procurement agent. Okay. See this? There is a record already available. Okay. If this record is not available, so what happens? You wanted to create, you just go with a plus. You can provide you can provide the procurement BU as Reliance US BU. And who is the agent here? Agent is nothing but a user. Emily Heather. Okay. Default requisition BU as this. And you see here requisitions, purchase orders, and suppliers. So there are many actions are there, right? So at present, no access. So we can give the full access. We can provide everything as a full. And these things will be taken care by the procurement team, the supply chain management team. Okay. But for our training, everything is required. That is the reason I am doing. Okay. Now you just go and click on a save and close. The system will shout us because the record is already available. See, what is the record we have given? Is it okay? Got it. So previously the record is with PPM 01 student, right? Now we have added with the Emily Heather. Okay, that's true. So almost the prerequisites portion is completed. Now I wanted to go with the Emily Heather login to raise a requisition. When you raise a requisition, total, see here, you create a requisition by providing the header details, line details, and the distribution details. Yesterday, when I was discussing about the supplier invoice, we have provided the information on the header, line, and the distributions. In the same way, while creating the requisition, also here we can provide the information in the three levels: header, line, and the distribution. Once it is done, and you can submit the requisition, and finance team has to approve the requisition based on the approval configuration in the system. Nothing but maybe self approvals. If there is a requirement to configure any finance department to approve this requisition, yes, we can configure. Okay. Now I'll take this. I'm logging with Emily Heather. I'm logging with Emily Heather. Emily Heather. Let's go to the sign in. Go to the home page. See, earlier this procurement tab was not there. Even if it was there, and we could not see these work areas. So this is a work area will help us to raise requisitions. This is a work area will help us to raise a purchase orders, and this is for the receipts. Okay, so let me go with the purchase requisitions. So review and update your requisitions. Okay, update preferences. Equation BU is Reliance US BU, and the requester is Emily Heather only. This is the location. Yeah. So, redwood, it's like a look and feel, the changing of the look and feel of your screens. Okay. Previously, the requisition screen, it was not like this. Okay, this is a redwood page. The look and feel of this requisition is a different when compared to the previous versions. Okay. Now, whenever I click on that purchase requisitions, the system is showing this screen, and the system is showing the preferences here. Okay. Let's see what is the business unit. Reliance US business unit. Who is the requester? Is creating the requisition. Emily Heather, the location. Okay. So for which project you are creating a requisition? Okay. So maybe you can go to 600, 600, 601, 600, 601. This is one construction project. Okay. Maybe the task number is some material for purchasing the material only. We are creating this requisition. Okay. So what material you are purchasing? Cement. Cement. Okay. What is the organization? We are taking the Shanjos organization. Okay. Now, irrespective of the module, wherever you go and enter the transaction specific to the PPM, that requires the project information like this. Okay. Now, the charge account which is required, you go to the plus. Okay. You go to the plus. Uh, I'm also first time to see this page. Okay. Charge to is it let me take this or take this. Okay. So here totally we have provided project information and the business unit information and the charge account information. Okay. Let me go and click on the add. Okay. Come down, come down. Display settings, show the table for view card, show the table view for record, show the table view for search results, show the requisitions view for manage requisitions, my requisitions, etc. Yes, update. Okay. Now, now what happens is, so those are the preferences we have set up. Okay. Based on the preferences set up of what we have done, whenever you create a requisition, by default, the project information will be pulled from the preferences. Okay. See, create a non-catalog request. Yeah, create non-catalog request. So, what is the item description? I wanted to buy 100 bags of cement for my construction project. Okay. And item type is goods billed by the quantity. That is fine. What is the category? The category is maybe you can go to, maybe I'll go to the laptops only. Okay. I'll go to the 100. I wanted to buy 100 laptops. Okay. The category is the laptops. So how much quantity of laptops? 100 quantity. Okay. What is the price of each laptop? Maybe 12, maybe $200. Okay, not in the rupees, $200. Now, who is the supplier? Who is the supplier? Yeah, this is the supplier I'm considering. From this shop, I wanted to buy a 100 laptops. Okay, come down, come down. If any attachments you wanted to attach, yes, you can attach here. Otherwise, nothing is required. If you wanted to mention any the notes with the supplier, you can mention here. Otherwise, not required. Okay. Now, simply you can go to the source. Okay. You can go to the add to the cart. Okay. After you provide the information, simply you can go to the add to the cart. UIM is a currency, right? UIM is a currency, or I can put each is the currency. Each EACH. Okay, you can go to the count. So each laptop, how much it is? $2,200. Request added to the cart. Request added to the cart. Okay. I just wanted to see the request in the cart. For that, I can go to the view cart. Otherwise, if you wanted to create another requisition, you can go and click on the create another requisition. I just wanted to go to the view cart. Okay. See here, this is what the requisition, right? What we have added into the cart. For 100 laptops, so we are going to order. Each laptop price is 200. Total it becomes for 100 laptops $20,000. Okay. So you can enable this and you can go with the submit. You can go with the submit. Maybe if you edit this, the details I can see whatever the details I have entered here. Okay, those details I can see. If you wanted to update, you can update, otherwise not required. Once you update, you click on the update button. Okay, and this is the one, the requisition I wanted to submit. Okay, I wanted to submit. Just I'm submitting the requisition here. One requisition is submitted for approval. I don't know who is the approver to approve this requisition, or it is self-approved by the system itself. See, now the requisition one is pending with the approval. You just click on the pending approval. Can I see any approver name here? As per my configuration, system should approve automatically. Let's see. View approvers. We cannot assign approvers to this requisition right now. Okay, because offline I made the changes to the approvals like a self approvals. Okay, now the status is pending approvals, right? Just let me refresh or something. If you wait for some time also, it should work. Behind the screen, there is a task manage requisition approvals. If I go to that particular section and I can able to see the configuration of the requisition approvals. Entered by Emily Heather for the business unit. This creation date is this. Okay. One second. So, I go here, view approvers. We cannot assign any approvers. System will take some time to get it approved. Okay. Now, if I go to my login, which one? The ppm01.student. Okay. See here, manage requisition, manage requisition approvals. Okay. Manage requisition approvals. So here, if it goes to, yeah, this is what the problem. I made this configuration here. Let me go and disable this. Okay, I disable this. I went to this, edit rules. So based on the business unit wise, if your business unit is a Reliance business unit, your approval should be automatic. That is what the configuration I did behind the screen. Okay, maybe let's deploy. Now what I'll do, I'll go to the requisition and I'll withdraw and again I submit based on this updated configuration, the system should work on the approvals. Okay. Now let's go to the logout and login. Procurement, purchase requisitions. Come down. This is the one, right? Date submitted. So this date we have submitted the requisition. Let me open that. Here, if you go here, your provides, okay, let me withdraw this requisition. Again, we can submit. So, where is the withdraw option? I don't see any withdraw option, right? Cancel is there. But if I come down here, if you go here, there is a withdraw option is available. Okay. You just go to withdraw. The current line and any other lines that are pending approval will be removed from the approval process. Yes, I am also expecting the same. Okay. So one requisition withdrawn. Previously it was a pending approval, right? Now it is withdrawn. Okay. So let's say let me go here. Again, I wanted to submit this. Open this and edit this. See, when I click on the edit button, automatically this submit button is coming up, right? You do some changes, otherwise not required. Let's go with the submit again. Requisition submitted for approval. Okay. come down, and again the pending approval. This time we'll wait for some time. Okay. Again pending approval. So I did the configuration to approve this requisition automatically by the system itself. Okay. View approvers. Let's wait for some time. You just keep it aside, this approval part. When I go to the my login, when I go to my login and I said the requisition is showing as a commitment, right? Where should I go and see that commitment? If you go to the projects, cost, manage committed cost is there, right? Manage committed cost. Manage committed cost. Okay, what is the business unit? Reliance business unit and project name. I remember the project number, but I did not remember the project name 600-601. So using this filter criteria, I'm searching the commitment here. Okay, nothing is coming up. Okay, now when you go to this particular diagram, whenever you create a requisition or purchase order to reflect these requisition and purchase order as a commitment in the PPM side, what happens? We wanted to run this program. Okay. So here itself, if we go to the right side task list, can I check any program is available for this? Update project performance data. If it's not there, you go to schedule process and run that program. You go to the schedule process tools, schedule process, and schedule new process. And update project performance data. Okay, this is the one. Once it is run completely successfully, Reliance business unit, our project is 600-601. Okay, 600-601. Okay, now you can go to the submit. Now this program is running. Once it is succeeded, we'll be back to the committed cost and we'll check. Meanwhile, I'll go back to the requisition approvals and I can check in the administrator. Okay. See this? If you look at this requisition, now it is approved. Now it is approved. In the offline, I did the configuration change. This is what the configuration I did. When I go and edit the rules. Okay, see, if your business unit, if your requisition business unit is equals to Reliance US business unit, then what actions to perform? The approval should be automatic. The approval should be automatic. This is what the configuration I did in the system. Because of that, your requisition is approved now. Okay. So once this requisition is approved or not approved, but the requisition amount showing as a commitment in the PPM side, right? So for that, if I go to my ppm01 dot student login, I ran this process, update project performance data, and I can go to the manage committed cost here. Let me search with my project and business unit. Okay. See here. Now I can see the commitment in the PPM. We are in the PPM side now. We are in the PPM now. Okay. In the PPM, the requisition information I can see here with the 20,000. Okay. How can I trust whether it is a requisition, whether it is a commitment or not? There is a column, commitment type. Okay. Commitment source type is the internal. Let me go to the column show all. See, if you look at this column, commitment type, what it shows, it is showing purchase requisition. Nothing but this record is a commitment type of a requisition. That is what this column is showing for us. So far, we have seen in the procurement section, we have created a requisition. We have created this portion. Okay. And we ran this to show this requisition as a commitment in the committed cost in the PPM side. How can I go and check the committed cost in the PPM side? This is what the process usually will follow. This is what the process usually will follow to see the commitment cost. So whenever I create a purchase order based on this requisition, this purchase order also will show as a commitment. That time, what happens is, so here the same record I can see in the managed committed cost, but the commitment type I can see as a purchase order instead of purchase requisition. Because based on the requisition only, we are creating a purchase order. Both requisitions and purchase orders are showing as a commitment. Initially, when you create a requisition, this commitment type is a purchase requisition. Later, when you create a purchase order based on your requisition, the same commitment is showing here, but the commitment type here, the system is showing the purchase order. Let me take a screenshot this. Okay. Now, so my requisition is uploaded. Okay. Now I'll go back to the home page. I'll go back to the home page. You go to the procurement section, and there is other tab, there is other section is available to create a purchase orders. You go with the purchase order. Okay. You can go to create order. You can go to create order. This is for the independent purchase order creation, but I wanted to create a purchase order based on the requisition. Okay. For that, I can go to the process requisitions. Okay. You can go to process requisitions. Okay. So the requisition BU is a Reliance BU, and the requisition, what is the requisition number? 1, right? Let me search this.
Yes.
System is trying to pull that requisition information into this page. You just remove this and let me search now. Okay. So this is the requisition we have created. Based on this, I wanted to create a purchase order now. That is the reason we came to process requisitions here. Okay. You just select this and you go to the add to the document builder. Okay. Add it to the document builder. Here we are creating a purchase order based on the requisition. In the requisition, What information we have provided, the same information will be defaulted to your purchase order now. Okay. So if you wanted to provide a supplier, yes, you can provide the supplier here. Now for creating a purchase order, the supplier is required. Supplier is an optional here. Okay, maybe for invoice creations, this supplier is required. Okay, so you select this line and you can go to okay. See, the requisition line is elapsed here because so with that requisition, purchase order is created. This is the purchase order. See, we are in the document builder. So this information all came from the requisition. Okay. Now I wanted to this create button will help us to create the purchase order. Let me go with the create. Everything, project information will be defaulted to purchase order from requisition. Charge account is defaulted to purchase order from the requisition. The BU information, items information, quantity and price, everything will be defaulted to the purchase order from the requisition itself. Without a requisition, few customers will prefer to raise a purchase order directly without any requisitions. Few customers will prefer their process starting with a requisition. Few customers they'll prefer their process starting with a purchase order. Okay, whenever they decide their process is starting with a purchase order, now without any requisitions, we wanted to create a purchase order. Okay, if you go to the task list, there is an option create order. That option will help us to create a purchase orders. See the document, the purchase order is created. This is the purchase order number. This is the purchase order number. Okay. So, okay. And see this, the header information. This information came from the requisition. And also this, the project information also, it came from the requisition only. Okay. I don't see any, the project information here. Okay. The quantity, price, UOM, that information is coming up in the line. If I go to the distributions, I can see the project details for which project this purchase order is creating, for which task, what is an expenditure type. Okay. What is a charge account? If I go to the view columns, show on. See, let me go here. See, the project details. These are the project details we have entered in the requisition side, especially in the preferences section. So everything is a defaulted to the purchase order. Okay. Now simply we can go and we can submit. Let me uh, let me note the purchase order number. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Okay, this is submitted for approval. So the approval part, when it goes to the approval part here, see here, there is a separate task is available for the approvals. You select the setup as a procurement and you can go to manage procurement. It's not the procurement, manage purchase order, manage purchase document approvals. Mm. Manage. Let me go on the search like this. Purchasing document approvals. This is the one. Okay. So offline, I did the configuration. Even for this also, I did this, but no, this one I'm disabling. Okay, only this is I'm enabling. This is also based on a business unit only. The Reliance US business unit only. I made the action as an automatic approval. Okay. Simply will deploy this. I'll be back to the requisite. I'll be back to the purchase order. You go here, manage orders. What is the purchase order number? This one. Okay. You remove this. Go with the search. Now it is a pending approval, right? Just checking. Currently is unavailable. You just select this. Go with an actions. Go with an actions. Any withdraw option is available. You open this purchase order and let me check. Actions, acknowledge, cancel document, close, please. Withdraw is there, right? Let me withdraw this. Why we are withdrawing? Because there was a mistake in the approvals. That is the reason. Okay. Refresh. Refresh and go to the actions. Done. Now the status of this purchase order is withdrawn. Okay. Now you go to the purchase order and refresh is there. Line details. Any submit option? Refresh it. Done. Mhm. Close, cancel, or you open, hold, freeze. Let me go back to the home page and come back again. Purchase orders. Manage orders. Let me search with my purchase order. Okay, let's go to the status. Submitted by Emily Heather and I withdrawn by Emily Heather only. Okay, that is fine. Mhm. When it is approved, the status will get changed to open. That is what I'm expecting here. Mhm. Let's go with edit. Then we can see the submit option. Yeah, submit it. Okay, now it is submitted for approval. Okay, now it is submitted for the approval. You just wait for some time, then automatically this purchase order status will get changed to the open. It will take some time. Okay. Meanwhile, I'll go back to this page. I'll run the same process again here. Update project performance data. I'm running again. Okay. To show the PO as a commitment now. I just resubmitted. Yeah, now it is waiting. Once it is completed, I'll go back to the manage committed cost, and if I click on search here, this the same line I can see, but the commitment type here there will be a change. Purchase order that I can see. Now it is running. If I go to let me check. Now it is approved. Let me refresh. The purchase order is approved. Yeah. If it is approved, the status will turn into the open. Okay. Now we will go back to, okay, let me search in the manage committed cost here. See this? Commitment type is changed to the purchase order. Previously, the commitment was from the requisition, and now the commitment is from the purchase order. Okay, this is a PPM screen where I can show the commitments. So you are working as a one end user from the PPM side. You don't know what requisitions or POs are raised from the SCM side. You don't have an access to the SCM modules. But still, if you come here and you can check with our project number, then you can verify what commitments are raised for this particular project. Is it a requisition level or a PO level at this stage? Okay. Now, if I go to the notes, this section is completed. This section is completed. The procurement portion is completed. This requisition and the PO shown as a commitment in the PPM side. Commitment in the PPM side. What I told you here, whenever you create a purchase order and hand over with a shop owner, based on these items, the shop owner will give you the items, and parallelly they will give us the invoice copy. But I wanted to compare this invoice copy with a purchase order. So I wanted to create a supplier invoice with a purchase order. Okay. In the invoice, how many laptops, how many desktops are there in the invoice? Whether really 200 desktops I mentioned in the purchase order, the desktops 500 we have mentioned in the purchase order. Maybe here 490 for 490. So our invoice is for 490. Because of the stock is not available and all, they have given only the 490 desktops. Otherwise, we requested 500 desktops. They have given the bill for 510 desktops. There may be a vary, right? We have received only 500 desktops only, but the bill is for the 510. That is the reason we wanted to compare the invoice with a purchase order. The purchase order is from the procurement model, but the invoice is from the accounts payable model. Accounts payable model. Okay. Now let's go to this account payables model and I'll show you the process. Now I wanted to go to the account payables model and I wanted to create a supplier invoice by matching with the PO, by matching with the PO. Okay. Let's go to the payables model, invoice. So even in account payables also offline, I have done the configuration that is not required for you. Okay, in order to show the flow, end-to-end flow, so we have to do so many things behind the screen. Create invoice. Starting from this screen, already we have discussed in the yesterday session. If you remember, yesterday we have created the invoice. We have imported the invoice from the expense report. Okay, manually also we have created one invoice and we have imported into the PPM. Okay, this time, yesterday, whatever the discussion we had done, so the discussion is for the standalone invoice creation and importing the invoice into the PPM. This time, we are creating the same invoice based on the PO, purchase order. Where I can provide the PO? Here I can provide the PO. What is the PO number? This is the PO number. You can provide the PO number here. Automatically, the PO information will get copied at the header level. See here, I did not give the business unit and I did not give the supplier information. Okay, only I'm giving the invoice number as this and invoice amount. Initially, I can provide 200, later I can provide. If you come to the lines, what happens is there are a few options are available here. Match invoice lines. I just wanted to use this option to match the invoice with a PO data. PO data means the purchase order data. Okay. Simply you can provide this option and you can go ahead with this right arrow. So that the purchase order information will come and sit in the invoice line level and also in the distribution level. See, this is a PO, right? You can select here and you can apply. This PO information will be defaulted to the invoice now. Okay. See here, previously it was not there, this line. Now it's there for 100 laptops at $2,000. Okay. Everything is there. So this is a purchase order number. See here, purchase order number is there. Based on this purchase order only, this information is populated. Even if it goes to the distributions also. The distributions also, I can able to see the project information, right? The project information is defaulted from PO. For PO, it is defaulted from the requisition. Now you check here, the project information is there. What is the project number, task number? Everything is defaulted from the PO because this invoice generation is based on the PO only. Invoice creation by matching with a PO. Okay. Now I'll go to, so once invoice is created, what happens? The immediate next step is to go with a validation, right? If I go with a validation, what happens? The system will shout us because in the distributions 20,000 is there, line level 20,000 is there, in the header level only 200 is there. See, needs a revalidation. See, the system holds are 1. What is the hold? See, the total of invoice lines does not equal to the invoice amount, which means in the line level we have a 20,000, right? But in the header level we have only 200. Okay, I changed it to the 20,000, and again I'll go with the validate again. Again I'll go with the validate. This time system won't give us any errors, and it will be validated. Let's see. Now it is validated. After it is validated, simply we go and we perform the create accounting process for this invoice. Once it is done, what happens? Once the create accounting part is done, the accounting is derived. The debit is item expense is a debit and the liability is a credit, right? If I go to the diagram, this portion is completed and this portion also completed. Only this portion is a pending. Nothing but if I go to the PPM and if I import, if we run the import cost program with the transaction source as Oracle Fusion Payables, this supplier invoice will be coming to the PPM. Then after importing this supplier invoice into the PPM, I can go to the project cost and I can search with a project number. Okay, now I'm switching into the PPM. I'm switching into the PPM, projects, cost work area. Where should I go and run the import cost program? Here, if it goes to uh, import cost,
Project cost.
what is the business unit? Reliance business unit. And the transaction source is payables, right? Payables. What is the project number? 600,601. Now it is submitted. If you refresh here we can cross check what is the status of this import cost program. The moment when you create a supplier invoice based on the purchase order, till that moment a purchase order, it was in the status of a commitment in the PPM side. When you create a supplier invoice based on the purchase order, the purchase order commitment will be elapsed in the managed committed cost, and the committed cost will be converted as an actual cost, and the actual cost I can see in the manage project cost option. Okay, now if I go to manage project cost, I can see the 20,000 as a transaction. Okay, what is the 600, 601? See this 20,000, right? 20,000. This is the transaction. For this transaction, we have created a requisition, PO, later supplier invoice that is imported into the PPM site. Now, I just go back to the manage committed cost. And I'll search with my project. Previously, I could see the commitment line here. Previously, I could see the commitment line. This time also it is showing the commitment line. For updating these commitments and all, usually we have to run this program, right? If I run this program, automatically this commitment will get elapsed. Because already the commitment is changed to the actual cost. Actual cost we can see in the managed project cost section. Only the commitments we can see in the managed committed cost section. See, so that program is running, right? Update project performance data. You just click on search. Nothing I can see now. In the managed committed cost, nothing I can see because the supplier invoice is created based on your purchase order. Actual cost is created based on the commitment. That I can see in the managed project cost. If I go to the managed project cost here, and the final step is to do the accounting, but the system won't allow you to do the accounting because it came from the account payables module. In account payables module only, we have ran the create accounting process. Once you do the create accounting process, once it gets succeeded in the account payables module, then only the invoice will get imported into the invoice. Without a create accounting process in the account payables module, there is no question of importing the supplier invoice into the PPM module. Got it, ma? So that is what the whole integration is. Even in tomorrow session also, we'll be discussing the same thing. This process we have done today. I went for the procurement. I created a requisition. Based on the requisition, I created a purchase order. I went for the purchase order. I created a supplier invoice based on this purchase order. I went for the PPM and I ran the import cost program to import the supplier invoice from AP into the PPM. This is what the process we have seen today. In tomorrow's session, directly I'll create one purchase order without any requisition. And also directly we can create a supplier invoice. This portion also we have seen in yesterday's session. If I go back here, we have seen this. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So this process we have seen, and this process also we have seen. Only this process is pending, and that we can see in tomorrow's session. So in order to see the actual cost, this is what the process. In order to see the commitment cost in the PPM, this is what the process. This whole diagram, it shows the complete integration between the procurement AP and the PPM integration. Got it?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yes, sir.
Any questions, Pawan?
Sir, yeah, little bit confusion. Yeah,
So you
today
just
again.
go through the same session, the session for recorded session for multiple times, so that you can understand, Pawan. So for
Yeah, sir.
one sitting, it cannot understand. Maybe for two times or three times, maybe you can understand better.
Yeah. Again, sir. Yeah, I will start with watch the video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back.
So let me stop.